Hello everyone, welcome to the channel, and today's video we're going to be reviewing Deadlock as a whole in 2025. So I stated before in my previous video that I would like to rank and talk about each of the major updates that came out this year. Of course, we got technically 3. There was a one in January, which we'll be talking about as well. There was supposed to be one in December. However, it has gone delayed due to whatever reasons. The scale is a bit bigger than they needed to. They've had difficulty in developing it and whatever. But Yoshi did state on the Discord a few days ago or whatever, saying that the update, they would have liked to have it in December. Of course, it was planned for December, and I was waiting for it to come out so we could review it and play it, of course. But because of difficulties, it's been delayed probably to the new year because they go on Christmas break. So we won't be, of course, reviewing that. That patch was probably going to be the biggest patch of the year. That was going to contain, from everything we've seen on like leaks and rumors and stuff, it is going to contain more heroes, another 6 heroes at least, similar to August, as well as a new game mode, which is like an ARAM mode, of course, which is like all random, all mid. So maybe you get random heroes and you're all in a single lane, and it's just like fighting. So it'd be more of a casual mode and stuff. The specific details like here and there and stuff, but adding a casual game mode to Deadlock will definitely make it go far in terms of more broader appeal to people, because some people are put off by the fact that the game is a MOBA. But I mean, even just changes in general, they have been trying to make it a bit more new player friendly, a bit more approachable. But I think they're still just trying to add content to the game and, stuff like that. But that's all like hearsay and rumors, so we're not talking mostly about that patch today because it didn't come out. We'll talk about it in January or whenever it comes out, but I assume in January. Don't know when, hopefully early. But we'll be discussing the other 4 updates, the other 4 major updates, content updates that came out throughout 2025. So I've ranked them. I'm going to go over them one by one and describe them, what I liked about them and what I disliked about them, and their sort of impact overall for the game. So starting off with, I think, the least impactful update. No, they were, to be honest, they were all impactful. They all did add significant new changes to the game, and the content has been some people's favourite stuff and some people's has disliked stuff. But not to discredit any of the content that was added this year, but just in general, I would say the least sort of polished and quality that the updates got is what we'll be ranking. So starting off with the 4th one, I'm going to count the 4 heroes in January, which would have been Calico, Holiday, Viper, and Sinclair, or Magician, but they changed his name to Sinclair. They got released. They were in Hero Labs, and then some of them got a few changes or whatnot in when they've got fully released to the game. Now they came. I'll say I put this one last, mainly because compared to having new heroes in the game is a fantastic thing. Of course, it helps broaden the roster, and it was their main goal for this year. So we did get 10 heroes this year, and of course this contributed to it. However, the heroes on release, pretty much all of them were very either buggy or kind of very overtuned and unbalanced, which is very evident that they didn't have as much testing as the heroes we got in August, as they came straight from Hero Labs. Holiday, very overtuned. The barrels did a lot of damage, the displacement and everything. The bounce pads, very strong. It had a stun if you leveled it up as well, very strong, whatnot. Her gun has been very good in certain points of the meta and whatnot. She's been a very strong hero since she's come out, and whatnot. Calico has always been a bit divisive because she's like a very stealthy burst character, so it's like, oh, you can be mind your own business, and if you're potentially just quite squishy, she can just run up and explode you, and it's quite hard to track down. But yeah, she took a lot of tuning to get right, and whatnot, so she's kind of like up and down in balance. Viper, very strong at first because the like amount of DPS and bullets you could just fire out was crazy. So it took a while for people to get used to her, or they did some changes and changes the gun and stuff like that. And her gun has caused her to move down. She's not one of the strongest now. I think she's a better spot in terms of like being weaker is easier because you can go up, right? But she was she was pretty scary and a big menace when she first came out. And Magician, or Sinclair, he has been all over the place, and I still think they're kind of like unsure of what they want exactly. I could still see him getting completely new stuff. I think there's another rework for his Rabbit Hex in the near future. They did change it during the year, I think early on, from like a single target to an AoE. Of course, his Vexing Bolt does insane damage. If you go against a good Sinclair, he can do 1,000+ damage with one Vexing Bolt and nuke half your health. Yeah, so in terms of balance and sort of quality of the heroes, of course, Viper and Sinclair both have temp models. They're not their final models. They need new ones. And I think Holiday and Calico just use a touch up in terms of models, right? Better texturing work and animations and things like that, of course. But they were sort of, I would say, not even like rushed out, but like you can tell that they just took the ones they saw the most complete, or the ones that would maybe fit in the game better, from Hero Labs and put it in. So they managed to get in, whereas the others from Hero Labs have been put on the back burner and are rotting in wherever they are in Valve headquarters. So yeah, as much as I enjoy playing these heroes, I really like Calico and Holiday to play. Them coming out, it took a while for them to really have a good kind of quality of balance compared to other heroes, and as well, especially the 6 new heroes that came out. So I would say that's my fourth update of the fourth ranked update of the year. They count as a regular update, but it was still new content. Well, it was more, I guess they didn't call it major content because they were already in the game, but they were just added to the main roster than being confined to Hero Labs. So next up, I think you could probably interchange these. It depends on what you feel like, but I'm going to put the shop rework as my third most update of the year, mainly because it was not as impactful overall. It's still a big change, of course. Brand new items and changes to like item slots and things like that. It was still very big, right? There's plenty of new items that have become core and become meta, and it's a good thing they have it, because the old one, of course, they were just all like temporary stock art. So having actual proper art is nice, and having there's like the incentives from like buying the getting investment in a certain category. It's not a bad update. I do like it, but and it was a thing that did need to happen, right? It needed an improvement and whatnot. So I'm not discrediting the fact that it wasn't as impactful. Like, it was not like necessary. Of course it was. Everything that there's things that definitely need changes still that they're going to improve on. But compared to the map rework, it was not as impactful. Like, yeah, it changed how builds work and stuff like that and whatnot. They changed their economy a little bit with like items building into other stuff, and how they costed, and the investment bonuses and things like that. It changed the amount of slots. Like, slots are universal rather than like you had 4 gun, vitality and spirit items and then 4 flex. Now they're just universal and stuff. So overall, like I said, it was a good update. But also the time between the shop rework update and the August update was quite long, and the fact there was just one, there wasn't that many like changes in between. There was only like 2 or 3 balance changes. It was quite a drag from the shop rework to the heroes in August, I would say. So still a necessary update and a change to the game, of course. And I do like a lot of the new items. A lot of them are fun, a lot of them cool, and there's like staples and builds and stuff, of course. Then there's a lot of fun items that people like. You know, Trophy Collector is an example of a very fun item. It's maybe not that great. You know, you buy it, it doesn't really do anything until you actually start getting stacks for it. But it's a fun item, and it was introduced in the shop rework. So, and I'm sure maybe in the future they will have even more, whatever. But especially just like the art-wise as well. Art team knocked it out of the park with all the icons. They're really cool and whatever. So yeah, I would say shop rework was third on my list, because while still necessary, it was not as impactful, I would say, compared to the other ones. Though of course it's a major rework of a core feature of the game that is always going to be present, right? Compared to what I put first, I'm going to say I put the map rework second, and then I could put the 6 Heroes August update in first. Just purely due to quality wise, right? But shop rework, you're always going to be looking at the shop. You're going to look at the shop every single game. You know, items and looking at items and builds for your characters that you're going to need to be looking at all the time. So in that way, yeah, it's something you'll look at every single time. Whereas the 6 new heroes, you might have games where those 6 new heroes might not be in your game, so they wouldn't have any impact or whatever. So shop rework, good, but compared to, I would say, the others in terms of the quality, there's personal preference, I guess, between the two. I would have put the shop rework in third, but I think they're very close in terms of the third and second place for my ranking of these updates. So then second is the map rework, which at first, when the map rework happened in February, it was a change to 4 lanes to 3 lanes, of course, as we know, as you may know. And definitely a lot of people were very opposed to the idea. The fact that people gotten used to the 4-lane map design and changing it to a 3, like Deadlock's unique thing was it was a 4-lane MOBA compared to a 3-lane MOBA, and whatnot, of course. But I think as time has gone on, it has made, I don't know how like the games that have played with 4 lanes, but definitely with 3 lanes, they've been way more focused in how you can traverse the map and how the actual, like, you know, how the map flows, basically. So I'm entirely, like, I'm fine with it being 3 lanes now. I think, you know, we can look back at the 4-lane map and whatnot, have gameplay of it, and you can still revisit in the game through console commands or whatever. But 3 lanes, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with having the game be 3 lanes now. So I am happy about it. Of course, they're going to be changing the map constantly. Pretty much every major update, they have been changing the map visually, with minor changes here and there in terms of like pathways maybe, or certain spawns and whatnot. So the map is a constant evolving thing. It was just the big change from being 4 lanes to 3 lanes. That was the major sort of change this update brought. Of course, there was new things like Sin and Sacrifice was still a thing, but they did change those in particular, whatever. But yeah, I think the map is the map has, of course, you're always playing on this map unless you're going to be playing on the new game mode, of course, but the map is very important as well. You're always going to be playing on this map, and you want to learn it inside out, knowing box routes and, you know, where vents are and stuff, and how to traverse it properly and using stuff like that. So in general, like I said, it has been a lot more impactful, I would say. It was much more divisive than the shop rework, definitely at the time as well. But I enjoy the map rework now, and of course it's only going to get better and better over time with visual improvements, layout changes, and whatnot. So I've you know, like I said, the shop and map reworks I think are interchangeable for me, to be honest. You could say one is, it depends on which one you liked more. Whether you like the new items and additions to the game and whatnot, or you like the map rework changes. So overall, I would say they're kind of equal, but I put them in the middle regardless. So now there's, of course, the #1 update that I put, and I think many other people would probably agree, is the 6 Heroes in August update. This update was phenomenal. The hype around it before it was crazy. You know, it was a long time between the shop update to this update. There wasn't many balance patches in between, so people were aching. They were crying out for an update, and Valve delivered. This update is amazing. It's 6 new heroes, but compared to the ones in January, they are a lot more polished, a lot more refined. Visually, they all have very distinct art-like look to them, and they've all been great additions to the game. Some of them have been stronger than others, some of them have been weaker than others, and they've made changes to them. But overall, they have been all great additions to the game. They all have fit extremely well into the game, and a few of them have become some of my favourites. Right, Victor has become one of my favourite characters in the game. Drifter has been very fun to play. He was a bit weak, but with the recent gun changes in November, he's become a bit better. Mina's a fan favorite. There's a reason why she was available first when the update dropped. You know, a vampire goth lady. I'm sure people love that design, and they have. So Billy as well is very cool. You know, a guy with a goat head is like a rebellious goat man. Paige as well, another new support addition to the game. You know, Doorman as well. Doorman is crazy. He is a super cool character. The doors, is in such a cool ability. They've just took the portal mechanic from Portal, of course, and just put it as an actual single ability for him, and he's super fun to play and whatnot. So in it, those 6 heroes, fantastic addition to the game. And in the sort of the time span between then and now, of course, since the update has been delayed, they have, and of course as well, they were sort of drip fed over 2 weeks. They had a voting system where when you play the game you got a vote, and then you could vote for a character, of course, and that character would be the next unlocked in sequence. So when the update released, Mina was first released, and then it was they released Billy, then Doorman, Paige, Drifter, and then Victor in that order over 2 weeks. So it got people incentivized to play the game, to vote for their favorite character that they liked, to see if they got into the game faster. Of course, all of them got in because, of course, you know, it's just who came first beforehand. But overall, great additions to the game, and that's not even just all they added, right? Apart from those 6 heroes, that definitely helped alleviate some of the boredom between updates, because when you had the 2 week sort of gap of the new hero being released every other day, but it's you can, if you like, you can basically go and play, and you can learn these brand new characters and learn how to play them, and you can spend hundreds of matches trying to learn the characters or whatever if you wanted to, and then of course going against them. So they've had so much more variety, and they're much more refined and than the ones that came out in January. So great addition there. Of course, in addition to that, in addition to the 6 heroes, they had the hideout. So replacing the old just general standard menu, you've got a personal sandbox area you can walk around in. You can check the shop. There's a little training thing. You have a bot you can do, so you can test out abilities, test out characters if you want to. It's not as much as the sandbox. There is still a teleport to the sandbox where you can actually adjust your stats and things like that, but It's a nice thing, of course, if you invite a friend along to your party, they'll be in the hideout with you, and they'll, plan to use it for future opportunities, as it says on their announcement. They said it's a fun place to spend time, as well as providing future opportunities for personalization, achievements, and events. Already had the event thing with the voting table, but I'm sure in the future, when the game gets more developed and whatnot, there'll be events you can do. There's already, if you participated last year in the winter event, there's a snow globe on top of the fireplace saying you participated. There's like a trophy cabinet, which I'm sure which will have achievements and personalization. You can maybe put decorations up. You play a certain amount of hero, you get certain stats on a hero. You can put a trophy of them on the wall or whatever. Super cool. I love it. Fantastic addition. In addition to, of course, the new like loading screen with the theme song. Oh my god, the theme song, immaculate, amazing. Like, the one thing that this update did compared to the others, while of course it helped improve gameplay a lot, 6 new heroes is big, but just help refine the art style and the feel of Deadlock. Whereas the other ones, of course, were like, the shop sort of did that in terms of like it's the catalog looking thing and had all the art, so it's kind of like different adverts for like an item or mystic item in a catalog sort of thing. This update really pushed the aesthetic Deadlock is going for, with the ritualistic occult New York theme, and they went super hard with it, and it's amazing. Like, aesthetically, from the hideout, from the main menu and the theme, to the new characters and whatever, to the character select screen. Every character got brand new art for the character select screen. Some of them got new models, of course. Lash, Lady Geist, Wraith, Pocket, got brand new models, and they look, they all look very good. And of course, expect more heroes in the future to have updated models as well. And the map as well got drastically changed. It changed from sort of a more of a daytime aesthetic to like a sunset time, and it fits. Like, honestly, even though it's sunset, like, you look up in the sky and you can still see the sun setting, it feels like it's night, and that sort of time of day fits so well. Like, with the the occult aesthetic that they're going for, having it feel like it's nighttime really fits. Like, the nighttime city, you don't know what's lurking around the corner, sort of that kind of aesthetic that they're going for, really is super cool. Like, visually the map is amazing, and it's still gonna get better. They still have like way more improvements to do. Of course, they majorly updated one of the Amber Hand base, only visually, but it's like more of like an industrial factory look. They updated Yellow Lane to be like more of a port, like a docking area for boats. They haven't changed Greenwich yet, but I'm sure that will be changed soon. As well as Blue got slightly updated, but I'm sure they'll put more stuff. From rumors of the next update, they're doing more stuff with interiors and the like subway underground areas, and of course the bases as well. So yeah, the 6 hero update with the hideout and all the art changes they did, such a good update. Super hype for the update to come out, and definitely delivered on that weight. And as well, it helped alleviate some of the weight, because you can, from like now to then, of course it's dying off a bit. Of course, it's been about 4 months since then, almost 4 months since then. And while it'd been nice to have the patch, the next content update be in December, of course it is delayed, but we won't have to wait long for that update, I'm sure, once January rolls around. So yeah, in addition, I guess they did quite the last thing I'll say in terms of content, just as a update in general, they did do quite a big major balance update in November, where they buffed gun across the board. They changed how walkers work, how souls work in lane. with the healing trooper and whatnot. Quite a big shake up to how the early game plays and the mid game plays. They also nerfed mid boss, so it no longer gives buffs to you. It still gives the revives, but it no longer gives like more health and fire rate and spirit power, which is good. It's still a strong thing to obtain, but it's no longer as strong as it once was. It was very impressive if someone got it when they got that buff. But yeah, in general, that update did change quite a bit, and of course has freshened up the meta slightly, has caused some heroes to go down and some heroes to come up. So that's exciting, and has like helped alleviate some of the wait for this the next content update, of course. But some people are a bit some people are happy, some people are not happy. I'm kind of neutral on the change in November. One thing I really like is the walker changes. It makes it much more simpler to get flex slots, as you got, instead of having 4 flex slots, you now have 3. They just gave one completely free, so instead of 12 items at start, you now get 13 item slots without needing anything, and then you get a flex slot per walker you get. And the walker's health scales, currently it used to be slightly different, but currently as it is of recording, the walker's health like scales, so it's like weaker at the start, the first one you kill, but then the second one and the third one have more health than each other, meaning it's harder to get all 3, but it's easier to get one potentially if you're like left alone and you're capable of doing a decent amount of structure damage. So overall, 2025 has been a fantastic year for Deadlock, and I can't wait for 2026, what it holds. Of course, this new update in January is going to be probably the biggest one from all the rumours. Like I said, we're going to get another 6 more heroes, I assume. At least 4 to 6, whether there was 4 probably close to being released, but I think they might be delayed because they want to have those 2 more be finished and polished more. So we're going to have more heroes, a new game mode, more art passes to the map, jungle changes and base changes and character remodels and stuff like that. And of course, whatever else they plan to do for the rest of the year, whatever they decide to focus on, whether it's still expanding the roster. I'm sure we'll get heroes here and there whenever. Massive changes to the jungle, as I still think 2 major things that the game definitely needs to improve on is jungle variety. We just have the basic light, medium, and heavy camps, and they're just the only the differences between them is just like how much damage they do to you and how much health they have. They don't have any kind of unique attacks or anything like that. So having more like jungle variety that give maybe specific types of buffs or something like that would be cool. Just like a jungle overhaul or whatnot, visually and gameplay wise. Maybe another small objectives. I've heard they've tried to test some other objectives, but it's not gone that well. But I'm sure they can, try out and see what's good and what's not good. And definitely a base rework in terms of gameplay. Visually, of course, we already have one, and then we're going to get other. But bases fall apart so easily. They're easily like the weakest structures in the game, it feels like. Because if the enemy has rejuve, and they manage to get like 1 kill, they can just siege the base entirely. And most of the time, base pushes are either done in 1 or 2 pushes. Like I feel like base pushes should not be done in that. It should be like chunk by chunk maybe. But like the fact that you can just have rejuve or get a good like a pick or 2 in sort of mid to late game, destroy all their base guardians, destroy both shrines, destroy the patron, and if you have still rejuve left and they have like a player down, you can just go and end their patron. The base poses like little to no threat as if you have rejuve or if you're just ahead. So making the base way stronger in terms of layout to defend, and stronger defenses from the patron and the guardians and the shrines or whatever is definitely needed, as bases fall apart way too fast. So that's sort of the say map wise, that's things I would want. Of course, more heroes, always great, New game mode, very excited for the new game mode. Even if you still really like the MOBA mode, having a more casual game mode to play would be very fun. Just to be like, I'm going to play a quick 10-minute game. I don't know how long it might be, but 10 to 15-minute game of Street Brawl or ARAM. That, you know, rumors that it is going to be called Street Brawl. Where you can just play here and just have some fun and play in a deathmatch sort of setting. So, very excited for that. I will be making videos on that update when it does come out in January, of course, so look forward to that. But thank you for sticking around for the video. If you got this far, I wish you all a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year as well. So, thank you for watching, and I will see you guys in the next video.